Amanda Gummer, who is a parenting psychologist. And Dr. Gummer, you may have heard us mention today throughout the news, GCSEs finish, and an awful lot of parents are saying to their children, have a drink on us. Not only have a drink on us, have a bottle of drink on us. Good or bad?
Terrible, clearly. Anybody giving their kids a bottle of vodka and going, fill your booze, what are they thinking? But
well, they're thinking to their son or their daughter, I suppose they're saying, it's a rite of passage, isn't it? They're now 16, they've got through this hurdle, everybody else is doing it, but there's a difference because they're now officially condoning it, aren't they?
Yeah, and I think that's a big difference, but I think we need to distinguish between giving your kids a bottle of vodka and going, fill your boots, versus introducing kids to alcohol in a gradual, responsible way that a lot of parents do. And demonising parents happens all the time, and there are very few, I would imagine, parents who are actually going, here's a bottle of vodka. I think the important thing is to look at the alternatives, and actually the extreme opposite is also really damaging, because if you don't give children access to any alcohol until they're legally allowed to, it's about the time they're leaving home, they're going away, they're unsupervised, and you've got no control. So teaching children risk assessment and the ability to self-regulate and self-monitor is a really important thing that should happen all through childhood, through play, through sort of discussions with parents. And you don't want to put it under the carpet, you don't want to completely ban it so it becomes the forbidden fruit.
You say, doctors, Isabel, you say who would be doing this, Drinkaware, this charity, their stats say nearly 1 in 4 parents will be doing that, giving their children alcohol to celebrate the end of exams.
Yeah, but there's a big difference between having a family party and letting them have half a glass of fizz to say, well, then you've celebrated your champagne, you celebrated the end of your exams, versus
go out with your mates
and here's a bottle of
us.
vodka. Yeah,
but
absolutely.
isn't the point that parents know their children are probably going to want to have their hands on alcohol? If the parents supply it, they know where it is, they haven't had to put themselves in a difficult position trying to procure it, if you like, by asking someone older to go and buy the booze, or lying, or going into the shop and, doing it illegally. Aren't the parents in a way trying to be supportive, involved, inclusive, and we shouldn't demonise them?
Exactly, I completely agree we shouldn't demonise them. It's all about balance though, isn't it? You don't want to be giving your 16-year-old whose body isn't fully developed yet, who is still underage legally, a bottle of vodka. However, like you say, I think helping children, introducing children and teenagers to alcohol gradually and responsibly in a supportive environment, absolutely the way forward.
Do you know what I think? It's fascinating talking to someone like you, and people can either say, oh, get real, missus, you're not in the real world, or whatever, or they'll say that woman's talking tremendous sense. But I think more and more you realise that classes should be devoted to parents, not children, because so many of them just do the wrong things or have no idea.
Absolutely, and antenatal classes are run-of-the-mill, but the minute you actually have a child, going to a parenting class has a massive stigma attached. I think it would be lovely to see parents feel able to access support all through their kids' lives.
This is one of those things where you can actually say, you raise your pup, you get your dog.
Yeah.
Really, and you better be very careful. Do you know what that means, Isabel? Yes, okay.
I was just thinking, it's a very British problem, isn't it? You go to France and children start drinking from a young age as part of the family group, but then they don't have the same sort of binging and issues that we have, certainly in late adolescence and even into 20s and 30s with the way we are Brits abroad and all the rest of it.
Oh, I was watching a programme the other night about CCTV cameras, and it was centred in Leeds on the university sector where a lot of the students were. And I know this happens in Belfast, I know it happens in Newcastle, I know it happens in lots of places as well. And just the attitude towards this binge drinking amongst students, it's, well, each to their own, but big problem. Doctor, thank you. Sorry, final word.
No, I was just going to say, if you demonise something or you don't let people have access to it until they hit a certain age, it has that appeal, and when you get hold of it, you go nuts, and that's the danger.
Okay, very nice talking to you. Thank you very much indeed. Folks, keep your views coming in on that throughout the programme this morning. Chris Scudder with the sport.
Thank you, Amy. On the way, Brazil.